Hello, Gemini. Welcome to Intuitive Gems. My name is Desiree, and I'll be doing your money, wealth, abundance, prosperity reading for the month of March 2020. I do want to say thank you all for your well wishes when I was in the hospital recovering from an illness pretty much all of January. So I just want to thank you all for the emails, the messages, and just all of your prayers. And like I said, it really meant a lot to me during the healing and recovery process. So if you are new here, I do want to invite you to subscribe because I do these readings every month. And I also want to welcome you to the channel. For the readings this month, I'm going to be using my Trippin Weight Tarot deck. I'm going to clarify with my Radiant Rider-Waite Tarot deck, and then I'm going to end your reading, Gemini, with a card from my Angels and Ancestors Oracle deck. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, also, if you are not familiar with how I read the cards, I do read jumper cards. So sometimes you will see as I shuffle, cards will literally fly out of the deck. Excuse me. Or sometimes cards will jump and flip over. Those are the cards that I choose to read because I do believe that they are communicating something specific that we need to pay attention to. So, what do we need to know for the sign of Gemini as it relates to money, wealth, finances, prosperity, and abundance for the month of March 2020? What do we need to know for the sign of Gemini? All right, I think I want excuse me, one more card for Gemini, and let me make sure that nothing is cut off here. Okay, Gemini. So as we move into March, I'm going to tell you, you are going to start getting the things that you want, the things that you have been working towards, things that you have been kind of hoping, wishing for, praying for. It's going to start showing up. It's going to start showing up very slowly, though. You know, I do see some cards here that indicate that things are not flowing as smoothly or as quickly as you would like them to. But don't think that that means things aren't happening and things are not happening in your favor, because they definitely are. We have the Ace of Wands, Temperance in the reverse. But check this out. We got the Ten of Cups in the upright position. And then we have Eight of Wands, Page of Swords, and the Moon card all in reverse. Now, what makes this interesting for me is seeing this card here. This is one of the most positive cards in the deck, which tells me that yes, you are going to start seeing some results. You are going to start seeing the things you want start to take shape or kind of show up in your life. However, because of these cards surrounding it, especially this Eight of Wands here, that tells me that things are just not going to be showing up as quickly or as fruitfully as you had anticipated. But again, it doesn't mean it's not happening. It just means that things are kind of happening either very slowly or it's happening in bits and pieces. So we have the Ace of Wands here. This tells me that you have started something new. It could be something work related. It could be a work project. It could be something related to a business. Because it's in the reverse, though, excuse me, this tells me that there's been some kind of hesitation. It could be something where it's like a stop and go, or, you know, there's been some delays, there's been some interruptions of some sort, and you're going to be seeing that probably most strongly in that first week of March. And because we are focused on finances and money, you know, you're really going to have to kind of embrace this because it's really not something that's totally in your control. Now, we also have the Temperance card here, which means things are probably going to be feeling a little out of balance. You may start to feel overwhelmed, or you may just start to get frustrated and discouraged because you're just not seeing things come together in the way that you thought they would. However, you're going to have to trust the process on this one again because we have this Ten of Cups here. That means that you are getting what you want. It's just coming in a different way, a different shape, through a different source. You know, you're just going to have to really kind of be flexible and kind of understand that usually the process to certain things is not a smooth one, and you are going to experience, you know, some ups and downs, and that's all part of the journey. Again, we talked about the Eight of Wands. This just means that things are happening slowly. It doesn't mean nothing's happening. It just means things are taking a lot longer than what we would like. Now, the Page of Swords and the Moon card. Page of Swords tells me that you're probably going to get some type of information of something being held up. Okay, there's going to be a delay of some sort. There's going to be something that's kind of slowing things down. And again, this has nothing to do with with you. Okay, sorry about that, Gemini, but I had to get a drink of water there. Again, this has nothing to do with you. It has to do with the circumstances that are really, you know, outside of your control. So I'm just going to kind of give you a heads up. There is going to be something that kind of slows things down for you, and something that maybe you didn't exactly see coming, but it's not entirely a surprise either, okay? So just be prepared. I mean, it's not going to be anything huge or major. It's just going to be some news saying, oh, there's a holdup, things are kind of delayed for a little while, or something is causing the process to slow down. Maybe somebody, you know, is out on vacation and they can't sign off on something, or, you know, something, you know, to that effect. Now, we have the Moon card here in the reverse position, and this is actually a very positive card when it's in the reverse, because the Moon usually represents things that are hidden from us, or some type of illusion, or something it's not what it appears to be. But when it's in the reverse position, this means that you are going to be enlightened in some way. You are going to get some information or some knowledge, or something's going to be revealed to you, and it's going to be quite powerful because it's really going to be a game changer in the things that you're working towards, especially as it relates to finances and your money. So just be prepared that there is more information that you don't know about yet. However, when we move into that first week of March, things are going to start revealing themselves. Things are going to start I guess expose could be a good way to say it, but there's going to be things that slowly start coming into your awareness and start coming to your attention that definitely will help you and really move you forward on the track that you're on right now. All right, so what else do we need to know for the sign of Gemini? As it relates to money, wealth, finances, prosperity, and abundance for the month of March 2020. What do we need to know for the sign of Gemini? I think I want one more card for Gemini, please. One more card for Gemini. All right, Gemini. Now, you're really going to be taking a lot of action as we move towards the middle of March. I can see that already. We have the Magician reverse, High Priestess in the upright. We also have the Six of Pentacles reverse, and then the Five of Wands and the Hermit card in the upright position. The Magician here in the reverse position tells me that you are not actually doing everything that you can in your situation right now, but it's not because you're not have the desire to, or you don't want to. It's just that you're feeling a little hesitant as far as taking some major actions because you're feeling a little unsure about the way things are kind of going right now. And that's understandable, especially after what we talked about of what's going on in that first week of March. So the Magician is all about taking a negative situation and manipulating things into a positive outcome. However, when it's in the reverse, that tells me that you're not actually doing anything because you're just not sure. You don't know what's the right action to take. You don't know when the timing is good. And again, sometimes you're going to have to trust your own judgment on things like that. And I say that because it's right next to the High Priestess. Now, the High Priestess is a very intuitive card. She's a very intuitive energy. She's someone who is very much led by her own internal guidance, her own internal her own internal way or perception of looking at things and trying to figure things out. Now, because of that, I think you're definitely on the right path as far as trusting your gut on a lot of things. I think it's wise to kind of hold off on some major money decisions or career or financial or business decisions at this time because things are just very, I don't want to say unstable, but you just don't have the clarity you need yet, okay? But it is coming. Again, remember, the Moon card tells us that clarity and that information is coming forth. You're just going to have to be patient and see how it shows up. Now, the other thing that tells me that things are probably just a little bit too unrestricted is the Six of Pentacles in the reverse. This tells me that you're not really feeling like you can be more spending of your money. You're feeling more like, you can't be overly generous right now. And I do think that is something that you are going to have to pay attention to as we move into the middle of March. Now we have the Five of Wands here, and then we have the Hermit card. The Five of Wands tells me that you are going to be having a lot of conversations and discussions about the things that are kind of happening as it relates to money and wealth and finances at this time. There may be some people who are giving you unsolicited advice, maybe some judgment, maybe some opinions that just were not asked for, and you're going to kind of be on the defense. Now, that's not a bad thing, but at the same time, it's also very draining. It's draining energetically and it's draining emotionally. And because you are going to be kind of going through that phase, we've got the Hermit mode, showing up towards the middle of March, which means you may have to take a step back. You may have to withdraw yourself from certain situations and from certain people, and you may have to kind of remove yourself from circumstances that just don't serve you at this time. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. I think everybody goes through a hermit mode at one point or another in their lives, and it's totally normal, and sometimes it's totally necessary. Now, the Hermit can also represent Virgo energy. There could be a Virgo in your life who is causing you to maybe feel a little unsettled, or maybe making you feel like you kind of have to constantly prove something, and if you are kind of experiencing that, just know that the problem is probably not you. The problem is you probably just being overwhelmed with that person's energy or that person's how some people are just not, it's like they're not necessarily supportive of you, but at the same time they're not negative or secretly wishing you fail. But there's kind of like this ambivalence. There's kind of like this hesitation of really connecting with that person, and that could be something that you're going through as well. So depending on your particular situation and where you are, this can be interpreted several ways. Again, you're going to have to see how the cards kind of relate to you in your life and in your particular situation. All right, Gemini, let's go ahead and get some more clarity on how things are going to go for you in March. Oh wow, this is interesting. You've got the High Priestess twice here. All right, and she literally fell in that particular spot. Okay, what else do we need to know for the sign of Gemini as it relates to money, wealth, finances, prosperity, and abundance for the month of March 2020? All right, Gemini, if you don't know that you need to really trust your gut and your inner feelings, you need to know it now, okay? You got the High Priestess twice here, which means you really have your own intuitive nature, your own intuitive abilities even, and those are definitely going to serve you well, especially as we move towards the middle of March. Now, we also have the Devil card here. The Devil card is all about unhealthy attachments. It could also be something that you know is a problem, but you're choosing not to deal with it, and so that particular problem is holding you back from certain things. Now, the Devil card also is sometimes people who are choosing not to correct a situation because sometimes they're getting a benefit from the situation, even though it could be negative. Now, I'm not saying that's you, Gemini, in particular, but I am saying that you may want to kind of examine some certain areas of your life and see where you may have some unhealthy habits, maybe some unhealthy attachments. This could also represent addictions or sometimes overly sexed energy that tends to interfere with other areas of our life, or it can harm certain relationships. So this is just something that you need to be aware of. I have a feeling that as we move into that third week of March, you are going to really kind of come to a point where it's not something you can ignore or kind of push aside anymore. It's something that needs to be dealt with, and it needs to be dealt with directly. Especially if you're trying to get your finances on track, okay? Because sometimes, like I said, certain attachments that are not healthy or certain habits that just don't serve us really can affect our money flow, and it really can affect how we show up in the world and how money is coming to us, or how money can also be repelled from us. Now, we have the Knight of Wands here in the reverse position. The Knight of Wands is all about its movement, but it's also like a lateral move, okay? So there could have been something you had planned where maybe you were planning to transfer, maybe you were going to take a little trip, and for some reason it just doesn't happen. Again, this is nothing that you can control. This is something that just kind of goes in a different direction, something that you were, anticipating, and for some reason or another, it just doesn't happen, or it just doesn't go that way. Now, the Eight of Cups, and then we have the King of Pentacles, tells me that you are choosing to walk away from something that no longer serves you. Now, this is actually This is a really good card, especially as it relates to our emotions, okay? And I say that because we do have that intuitive energy from you here, and then we also have something coming into your awareness of something that is just not serving you. A habit, a relationship, it could even be a job. Sometimes we are bound to our toxic jobs because we feel like that's the only option we have right now, or because we desperately need the money, so we can't quit. I understand that very well because I went through that myself. When I was in a very toxic job situation, the Devil card kept showing up repeatedly. And then I finally realized, yes, I was holding on to a situation that no longer served me and actually was harming me in more ways than one. So I say all that to say, Gemini, is that you actually come into a sort of awareness in the second half of March, and you choose to walk away from something, okay? Now, this could either be positive or negative depending on exactly how the situation plays out. Since obviously I don't know the specific details of your particular life, I can't tell you either way, but I can tell you that you are making a conscious decision to turn away from something. You are making a rational, thoughtful decision to leave something. Now, it could be something good or it could be something bad, but I have a feeling that this is something that you have been thinking about for a while, and you finally say, you know what? I'm going in a different direction. I'm deciding to move, move away from this for whatever reason. Now, the good thing is, because we have the King of Pentacles here, it's going to free up some of your energy to be more productive and more in that money-making flow. And the reason I say that is because the King of Pentacles is someone who is very smart with his money. He's also someone who sees money as a tool and knows how to use money and knows how to have a strong relationship with money. Now, you may not totally be there yet, but you're definitely going in that direction. You are learning how to have money work for you instead of you working for money. You understand the value system of how money relates to you and in your life and, in some of the things that you're working on. Also, too, this could be someone who is someone who really wants to help you grow and help you build. It could be a business partner in some way, or it could also be you, Gemini, just kind of leveling up as it relates to money, finances, investments, and things of that nature. So it's definitely going to be a little bit of uncertainty as we move into the second half of March, but just trust you are going to be making the right decisions because, again, we've got this double high priestess here. So as long as you trust your inner gut and you trust the way you feel about something, it's going to move you through all this very seamlessly. Okay. So what else do we need to know for the sign of Gemini as it relates to money, wealth, finances, prosperity, and abundance for the month of March 2020? What do we need to know for the sign of Gemini? All right, Gemini. So as we close out March, you're going to be in a money flow. I'm just going to put it like that because I see this Nine of Pentacles here. Even though she's in the reverse, the Nine of Pentacles is all about really seeing the fruits of your labor. Now, even though you are going to be in money flow, it may not necessarily be to the degree that you would like or to the degree that you are expecting. But don't discount it, okay? Because money is definitely going to be flowing, and it's definitely going to be it's going to be something that makes you feel a little uncomfortable, but at the same time, it's something that's going to really trigger some new ideas, new growth patterns, new habits, and even some new plans as far as your future career or your future business, or something, along those lines. And the reason why I say that is because we have the Hermit, Page of Swords, and the King of Swords. And again, the Nine of Pentacles all in the reverse. Now, the Hermit card, remember, we saw him here too, where you felt like you kind of needed to take a step back and maybe withdraw from someone or something. As we get towards the end of March, you're going to feel like, you're kind of coming out of that phase. You're coming out of that withdrawal period, and you're ready to start showing up, and you're ready to start doing the things that need to be done in order to get you on track. You're ready to kind of take responsibility and take control, and you're not hiding so much anymore. Not that you were, hiding in a bad way, but at the same time, you realize that certain things just cannot be left alone for too long. Now we have the Page of Swords here, and remember, we saw him here too. So you do have more messages coming. You have messages coming as it relates to money or as it relates to your career. Again, these are things that are probably not necessarily what you're anticipating. It's not going to be bad news, but I do sense that it means that there is going to be a holdup of some sort. You are going to get some information where, things are just not going to go according to plan, or things are going to probably just be delayed on some way, or certain things are going to be eliminated, certain things that you didn't expect. The Swords is all about cutting away the unnecessary. So you may get some news or information about things being taken away, but it's not necessarily something that you have to worry about. It's just something that maybe you no longer have to worry about. Now we also have the King of Swords here. Again, the King of Swords is a no BS kind of energy. He's all about stripping away the things that don't work and moving things into place that will work. This is a very powerful card. It's a very powerful energy. And Gemini, I really feel like you are finally kind of getting to that place where you just don't have time to waste anymore. You're ready to kind of stop with the unnecessary and really focus on the few things that are really going to make a difference and propel you forward. And like I said, with this Nine of Pentacles here, you are going to be in a state of money flow. It just may not be to the degree that you are expecting or wanting, but trust and know that what you do want is coming, especially as it relates to money. So overall, as we look at the month of March for you, Gemini, there's going to be, some ups and downs, but you do have some things definitely working in your favor. You're going to get information. You definitely have the power of the things that you have been working towards are going to start showing up, maybe in little ways. You're going to start to get hints. You're going to start to get whispers of the things that you want. And they are coming to pass. You go through some, maybe a little bit of emotional challenges towards the middle of the month, but you're going to close out strong. Like I said, you're definitely going to be in a money flow, and you definitely have your own intuitive abilities and your own intuitive nature that are definitely going to serve you strong in the month of March of 2020. All right, Gemini, so let's go ahead and close out your reading with an Angels and Ancestors Oracle card. I really like this deck. Oh, interesting. Shaolin Master. Be graceful in movement and action. And I really feel like this kind of just underlines pretty much everything we were talking about in your reading today, Gemini. The Shaolin Masters, I don't know if you're familiar with the Shaolin monks, but they have a very quiet strength. It's a very powerful way of kind of living your life without being overtly obvious about the true power that lies within. And I think that is something that you definitely will have working in your favor, Gemini. All right, I hope that you enjoyed this reading. I hope that it was helpful. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or observations, please feel free to drop those down in the comment section below. And again, if you're not subscribed, I do invite you to do so because I do these readings each month and I would love to share your money message with you. All right, Gemini, thank you so much for taking the time to watch. I'll definitely see you again next month.